burning the weight off quickly, it won't have that big of a hurt. It won't put that big of a hurt on you.
Well, at least you can have a combination of welterweights all the way up to heavyweights that you can fight. Your hit
I
list.
bet I can sell my secret. I know that.
I'm sure you can.
All right, we're here, almost at the halfway point between Mark Two Shop Johnson and Paulino Villalobos. And Two Shop has been throwing that right hand, and he's been getting in and out and doing it all around. Gotta love what he does. Look at that. See that little short left hand?
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
You know, that is textbook boxing. That's why he is so appreciated by so many of the true professionals of this game. Because Mark Two Shop Johnson is old school, isn't he, Antonio?
Very old school. He's a throwback. Like I said, vintage boxing at his best.
All right, we're going to get ready as they call the bell to the end of the round. Ronnie Duncan being joined by, of course, Isra Girga, former 5-time women's champion, and, of course, my man, Antonio Tarver. And, Antonio, in reference to what you've seen here thus far, what type of advice would you give to Mark Two Shop?
Well, you know, I think Mark needs to focus more on his job, and that's to get this guy out of there, look good doing it, and don't have to prove anything to his hometown fans. I think he needs to just get a little bit more focus, and I think wearing this guy down and getting him out of there in the late rounds will be the answer to Mark Two Shop Johnson.
I tell you what, they were both posturing there in the ring and having some fun. Look at him. I mean, the mere fact that Paulino was like, come on, bring it. You got it, bring it. You know, and that's when you're having fun in the ring. Every fighter wants to have fun. Every time you can have fun, but I tell you what, when you're that relaxed in the ring, that's when you do your best work.
Definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. They're definitely having fun, and you know, at this halfway mark, I think Mark's gonna start turning it up, because I think he took the last round off a little bit to, you know, relax and take a second breath.
Once again, if you just joined us, Laila Ali has been victorious. We had her as our very first fight of the night. We're here in round 6 of this scheduled 10-round contest. Mark Two Shop Johnson against Paulino Villalobos. Two Shop has had his hands, not full, but that's been interesting.
Yeah, he definitely has. You know, Villalobos came to fight, and he's not intimidated at all. You know, he's matching Two Shop's blows. You know, they're exchanging in the center of the ring, but when Mark gets to boxing and using that jab, Paulino really can't do much with him.
He's in the middle of the ring right now, and I think this is where he's at his best. You see the fancy footwork, and he's right now, he's playing chess with this guy. He's going to checkmate this guy in a minute. Now, that's when he's beautiful with this combination. He's pot-shotting this guy now, moving him, giving him the angles that I spoke of earlier. This is Mark Two Shop at his best.
It's versatility in the boxing ring, and that's what I enjoy about Mark. You know, not only is he an excellent broadcast puncher, but that combination he just landed and how he was able to put it in there and get it out, it has to be applauded.
Definitely, definitely. He's definitely playing with him right now. You know, he's in his zone. He's showing his outclassing and schooling Villalobos.
Definitely, definitely. Now he's in his rhythm. He's feeling it. And believe it or not, the knockout will come when he's not even looking for it. Just continue to box, continue to move.
Got hit by a nice little right hand and a left hook that time by Paulino.
Definitely. And those shots.
Paulino doesn't stop. He doesn't stop.
Those are the shots that keep giving this guy encouragement. You know, I think Mark needs to dress down in defense right now, not take those shots, because he's too good of a boxer. He don't have to.
Yeah, Mark Johnson was just complaining to Kenny Xavier about low blows as well.
Nice strong overhand left that time by Paulino. Mark winding up. A little bolo action there.
That was definitely for the fans of Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I think Mark, you know, in the back of his mind, I think sometimes he feels that he needs to prove stuff to his hometown crowd. But you know, he's a champion, true champion at that. You know, people will support him regardless of what he does, and he's just outclassing Paulino right now.
Let's talk about something that is happening here tonight, something that we are seeing. Look at that, they're both having some fun out there. Paulino with a nice hook to the body that time on Mark Two Shop Johnson. And that left hand hit Mark Sharp right on the head. That's a second left hand, and Paulino is right there, but Mark seems to be riding the tide with the punches and didn't appear to be too effective. Interesting action And I'm going to be honest with you, as we enter round number 7, let's not be so quick to say it's an automatic decision. There is perhaps some judges and maybe people watching this fight who are saying maybe there is just a possibility that Mark Too Sharp Johnson is winning this fight, but not by as wide a margin as you and I maybe have thought throughout this day.
There's definitely been some close rounds, I think, but when you look at it, it's the lack of Mark either losing concentration or not staying focused. I mean, I just, you know, I don't like to see him get hit like that. And there's a lot of things can happen in a boxing match as it goes on. You can get cut, and maybe that big fight may not be there when you want it to be. Headbutts can clash. As long as this guy stays in it, it's dangerous for Too Sharp.
Okay, I don't want that water.
You're watching Raging TV tonight on pay-per-view. We're glad you could join us. If you just got here and you're saying, oh, is Laila Ali next? I want to tell you something. We had rain here in Maryland, had to start exactly at 9 o'clock. We weren't even sure whether or not we would get on the air. And we said, you know what? As long as the skies are clear, we've got to go with the main event right away, and that's Laila. She'll be stinging Ali against Nikki Eplan. I won't let you know about it unless you saw it. Perhaps later tonight we can show you highlights of that fight as she took on Nikki Eplan out of South Point, Ohio. Glad you could join us. But right now, it's Mark Too Sharp Johnson taking on Paulino Villalobos in the green trunks, trimmed in white. Too Sharp has had his way. He's had some effective moments. Obviously, with that right hook underneath and then coming back upstairs.
Yeah, Paulino is definitely motioning to Too Sharp that nothing is affecting him. You know, every shot that he throws, he's just mainly saying that it's not affecting him at all. So, you know, bring it on. But, you know, Too Sharp knows better. You know, knows that he's probably hurting him, and that's what the common reaction is.
Too Sharp rolling with those punches, being able to throw his shoulder off and throw a punch after that. Classic move that only the veterans can run.
Oh, he's slick. Last one,
nice right hand.
There it is.
Nice right hand and a hook that really caught Paulino in trouble. Paulino up against the ropes. He's trying to fight off it, but Mark Too Sharp is Too Sharp right here in round number 7. But he's got to be careful. He's got to be careful because every time you think Paulino is sleeping, he gives Mark Too Sharp a wake-up call.
This guy has a granite chin, and you have to take your hat off to him. And also, I like to say this is a beautiful promotion. If you didn't buy it on pay-per-view, you missed a heck of a fight. This is what the people, the fans, spend their money for. Great fights, and we've had 2 great fights tonight.
Tom Lyles coming up next. We've got a young man that is really going to surprise you. I'm talking about a little middleweight out of Washington, D.C. They say he is the sweetest thing in D.C. since Sugar Ray Leonard. They call him Sweet Henry Sugar Poo Buchanan.
That's a long
He's going to be
name.
coming up next here on Raging TV, the main event.
Looking forward to seeing that.
Almost a sellout crowd here at Bowie Baysock Stadium. Laila Ali can sell some tickets, I can tell you that much, and so can Mark Too Sharp Johnson.
Absolutely. They both are great names, and this has been great TV fights. You know, these are the type of fights that people need to see on TV. You know, as Antonio said, this has been a couple of great fights, and we have more coming up as well.
As long as weather permits, we're going to stay on the air.
I think Mother Nature knew we had boxing tonight.
Nah, she heard my prayers, man.
I
was like, we can't have rain out. We're outdoors. We just couldn't do it. Getting ready for round number 8 of this scheduled 10-round contest. Mark Too Sharp Johnson came in at 122 pounds. Paulino Villalobos, 119 pounds. And Mark will be going to unify the title against Perez. I believe that's going to happen sometime in October.
Yeah, October, November, I think you said.
Got a lot on mind. You know what? We haven't talked about the one thing, Isra and Antonio. The elements here tonight. This is an outdoor venue. And Antonio, I know you have fought outdoors. Isra, have you?
Actually, I haven't.
What is the difference in fighting from an outdoor situation and an indoor one, Antonio? Because I know you've done it once. It can take a lot out of you, the natural elements.
Definitely, especially with the sun beaming down on. When I was in Washington, I fought Chris Johnson. It really took a toll because sometimes you would position yourself in the ring and the sun would be directly in your eye. And so instead of boxing at that moment, I want to move into a position where the shade was there. It can be tricky. And the sun beaming down, it takes